Gorgeous song.
Thank you.
It tells the story of Harriet Jacobs, who eventually fled north from North Carolina and did heroic work in helping to emancipate enslaved people. But your song doesn't tell that story. Your song tells the story of this really terrible time, but formative time, I think, where she's building her courage, and the metaphor is this sliver of sky that shows her the possibility that there is. And I think that, we are always inspired by a glimpse of something.
Absolutely. I was so inspired by the story of Harriet Jacobs, which I read when I was a child. My dad is from the Caribbean, he's from St. Kitts, and I had he has 4 sisters, and 2 of them stayed in the UK, 2 of them came to New Jersey, and they would send me American stuff. So they'd send me Kool-Aid, or they'd send me barrettes for my hair. They would send me books with people in who looked like me, which was harder to find in England in the 80s. But they also, my Aunt Joyce, she sent me, when I was 13, this book, and it was early American classics. And I remember that it was Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl by Harriet Jacobs. And that was the first thing I read because it was by a woman. And I was pulled into this story and the particular details of the story. She's born in 1813, and she learns of her status as a slave, which you think every child must have had that awakening at some point, but I've never read it documented that particular way, where you're under the authority of your parents, but you see your parents answer to a wider authority. So to this woman, and she is growing up, and she has this free grandmother who protects her to a certain extent, but she has this master who has this obsessional relationship with her. He believes himself to be in love with her. He wants her to live in this cabin in the woods where he'll be able to visit, and she is resistant of this idea. So as she knows if she goes north that he will find her, and they'll spare no expense in finding her. So she decides to make it seem as though she's gone north. And she writes letters, and she has them sent from the north, but she's actually hiding out in the crawl space above the storehouse of her free grandmother, and she stays there for 7 years. But she is able to bore this hole in the side of the building so that she can look out, and she can look out and see the sky. She can see the sunset. She can also use the light to sew by. She sews clothes for her children and has them sent.
And she can watch her kids.
And she can watch her children growing up.